starting off. Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grumbleduke, and I'm joined today by Metamorphosis. Meta, are you there?
10 seconds to go.
He said, hopefully, we're going to have to work out some other thing for
seconds.
that. But yeah, we are here for another match from the JDL. This time it is Wave.XILs against Ad
Dyer's
Ultimus.
pick.
This is, of course, from our Wave Gamers group. This is the XIL squad. We're very, very proud of them. They've unfortunately just had one member leave, so they've got one stand in this game, which is Alan Iverson there. But otherwise, it's a familiar squad of Davide, whose name's not showing, Umag, Yapplejack, and Shadow. And they're running up against Ad Ultimus, and from my research, it looks like these two are actually tied in the division at 2 wins, 0 losses.
Seconds
So
to go.
this could be quite an important game. Just
5
looking at the draft
seconds.
immediately, some pretty solid bands coming out. Death Prophet, a fairly standard pick these days, just enables such good
Dyer's
4 Protect
pick.
1 or Tower Push, whichever way you want to do it, as a 5-man or a 4-man. Like and Void. Bristleback, I haven't been seeing banned as much recently. People seem to be happy that they know how to counter him. But then, of course, the two picks. David immediately picking up his Doom. He absolutely loves playing that hero. The incredibly hard disable that Doom offers is just unmatched in the game, literally. The only downside is it's one target. And Ad Ultimus being quite brave,
10
I think, to be honest, with the
seconds to
Brewmaster
go.
pick. Brewmaster is, I wouldn't say hard countered by
5
Doom. It's very
seconds.
dependent on kind of who gets the ultimate off first. But certainly,
Reserve
if
time.
Brewmaster gets doomed before he ults, he's going to find it. Well, he's going to be basically useless for that entire fight. So I'm now just quickly going to go and chat to Meta and try and get basically just
pick.
try and get my co-caster here because I'm sad without him. Unfortunately, this is probably going to mean that anybody watching on Dota TV is not going to be able to hear my voice because we're going to have to go into Steam chat. But I do encourage you, just go and check me out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/GrumbleDukeGaming. And if you can't do that, then I'm very, very sorry.
Radiant
Let me
team
see if I can
ban.
get him on the phone. Meta? Hello? Metamorphosis, can you hear me? Microphone in use by game,
10
but it isn't in use by
seconds to
game.
go.
Just very quickly then, having a look at these picks while we hear Meta type
5
away because he can't hear me.
seconds.
We see Rubik there. Good pickup, I think. Great potential for stealing either the Brewmaster ult or the Tidehunter ult.
Radiant's
And the Tidehunter, of course, it's a bit of a one-trick pony, and against a Rubik, it's a little bit suspicious because you Ravage, and that's great. But if he steals it and then he Ravages, then he's kind of equal to you. And if he then steals another bunch of spells and uses them, kind of more valuable than Tidehunter. It's very dependent.
Team ban.
And then let's finally get this this chat going with Meta, because I need my co-caster here.
Dyer's pick.
Try that again. Meta?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Hey, sorry about that. I realised, of course, Dota TV, we're not going to be able to just open mic it in game. But the other team didn't want casters, so that's that. What do you feel about the draft so far? I've been kind of talking as they go.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting draft. AD
Radiant's
Ultimus definitely have a plan in mind because they immediately went for the Brewmaster pick, and in the second banning phase, they banned the Shadow Shaman and the Skywrath Mage. So they
Dyer's
kind of
pick.
have a plan in mind and they want to execute it. They're on the Dire side, they pick the Tide as well, which is always a good pick because worst comes to worst, you can go to Ancients. Having said that, Wave.XILs, very good pick with the Doom first because that gets one person out of the team fight. But that is also kind of the negative about Doom, which is if you have too many targets to Doom, you can only Doom one target. Which is kind of what we can see from the Ad Ultimus kind of gaming mode.
5
If he's gonna
seconds.
doom the Tide to stop him from ravaging, then the Brewmaster is just gonna ult and wander around. If he dooms
Reserve
the
time.
Brewmaster, then the Tide is gonna ult him. And you have the Dazzle pickup, which means that he can shallow grave a person and stop him from dying. So
Sure.
So effectively, Ad Ultimus at the moment,
Radiant's pick.
they're happy to team fight, but not only they're happy to team fight, they're happy for these team fight to take a long time as well. Because they have a very tanky strength-based lineup, and they have a heal, which means they don't mind about extended team fighting. While on the other hand,
Dyer's ban.
There
we
it
can see
is.
D.
There it is. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, what are they doing with Kotal? But it's a traditional PL Kotal with tranquil boots that's gonna go on
10
Davide.
seconds
Yep.
to go.
They love
I'm
that
looking
tri-lane.
forward to this match.
That'll be Rubik, Coddle,
Yeah.
and PL. Doom on the
seconds.
offlane. And I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying about, give them a lot of Doom targets. But
Reserve
I mean, to me, Doom is
time.
one of the best ways to shut down a Brewmaster. If it can get off before the Tidehunter goes, then Tidehunter's useless in that fight. If Tidehunter does get Ravage
Yeah.
off, then Rubik can steal it, and then Tidehunter is kind of equaled out
Yeah.
in that fight. Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of in favor of
I
the
mean,
Waves
they-
draft, especially because there's not a huge amount of AoE damage on Ad Ultimus. They've got a nice amount of disable, they've got a fair amount of AoE damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough to like quickly clear out waves and waves of Phantom Lancers if Wave can, no pun intended, waves and waves
Hold
of
out
Phantom
for long
Lancers if Wave can wait for late game. Just get to kind of 50-60 minutes.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I mean, the Wave.XIL today are playing with a stand-in, Allen Iverson. Chances are he's going to take the mid hero, and
That'll be the
he's quite,
Invoker if they can get it.
Dyer's pick.
Hasn't been banned yet.
Yeah, I mean,
for some
that
reason.
he's a very competent and he's a very good mid player as well.
Mm.
So I'll be looking forward to see what he does in general in the laning phase and otherwise as well, because generally he plays, tier 1 heroes and he's very good at them. He has very good rotations as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Radiant's
But
pick.
generally, I mean, Ad Ultimus have a very, very tanky lineup at the moment. And, in the later stages of the game, once there's a mech, Kotal Illuminate is not going to do that much damage. And even the Doom is not going to do that much damage. Because you have...
Sure.
They're just so tanky. They're like, 4 strength heroes and 1 intelligence hero.
And they go for the Morphling. So, I mean, they're going to have that right click coming out. I mean, the Doom can build to damage, and I don't think he's going to have too much trouble in lane against a Dazzle and Undying and probably Brewmaster. It's just going to come down to how well Umag can calculate the actual strength loss as opposed to damage coming out from Undying. That's what will make that tricky.
Yes.
But, I mean, turn it the other way around. Like, I don't know. There isn't a huge amount of definitive
ready if I
late
were
game
you.
right click coming out of that ulti. If the Brewmaster can feed and get the levels, then he's got a
there
crit
is a
chance.
Dragon Knight.
Sure, but they don't have any of those standard agi carries who get the attack speed and the damage from their agility points.
Yeah.
They've got 4 strength
Yeah, I
heroes,
mean-
which is bold, and it can certainly work, but it's a big face rush strat.
Yeah. I mean, they have an incredibly tanky lineup, and they have one of the best healers in the game in Dazzle as well. Shadow Wave, Shallow Grave, great heals, and Weave as well. The armor increase or the armor reduction is an absolutely amazing thing to have. So, they'll be happy to take early team fights, and they're happy to take extended team fights. On the other hand, you're talking about a Morphling, a Kotal, and a PL, which in the kind of id to mid
30
game,
seconds to battle.
they're incredibly squishy.
Yeah.
So,
Wave are going to have a
that's
tough
the kind
early
of
game, sure. Oh dear, and Umag
Yes.
possibly getting
But
caught out of
if-
position here. Brewmaster was hiding in the trees, not going to get out quickly enough, but scares him off. And I'm slightly disappointed he doesn't have a sentry as well, but this is a long-standing argument I have with David, whether or not you need to get a sentry on your offlaner or just the ops. And do you want to choose one of the
generally,
teams? We should probably get on with that before first blood goes down, because it will be
Let's
soon,
get
Before
this
I'm
first-
sure.
yes.
over with.
Yeah, I'll introduce Wave.XIL. On the carry PL on the safe lane, we have David Y. Stevenson. On the mid, our stand-in Allen Iverson. On the off lane, we have Umag on the Doom. On the supports, we have Yapplejack on the Rubik and Shadow on the Kotal.
Shadow on the Coddle. And then over on the Ad Ultimus side, we have Hydra playing the Brewmaster. Mid DK being played by Psionic Lord, which is a pretty cool name. Got to give him some respect for that. Not getting a very good block off, just as I'm passing through. First thing to notice. Tidehunter being played by Silent D. Undying being played by Ray there, and also Flozo, who's on the Dazzle. And it looks like both teams just going for a standard defensive try. I mean, honestly, I think there's more killing potential on the Wave side.
Yes, I mean they have some they have a great disable on Rubik. Lift, bring them closer, Kotal Wave, and then all you need is just one more ability from any of the heroes, and you basically get a kill. On the other hand, I mean, the stuns are coming out from the carries for Ad Ultimus. I mean, you have the stun on the Dragon Knight, you have the slow on the Brewmaster. Dazzle doesn't get his mini stun till level 4 on the Poison Touch.
But I
but
don't think
it's the kind of thing where the...
I mean, slows don't work too well against Doom, because Scorched Earth is movement speed and heals. I've never really...
Yeah, I mean,
really think they need a bit stronger lockdown if they want to kill this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really, really hard to stop the Doom from getting XP. And if he grabs a good creep as well from the side jungle, then he'll be quite set. It's unfortunate that the Dire themselves sentry warded their own hard camp, because that stops the Doom from being able to either side pull or grab whatever creep is in there. So Doom is just going to have to survive for a while.
It was a good call from them. Umag now also not going to be able to block up the pull camp there on the Dire's side. Unfortunately, he's been forced to put his obs down here. He didn't manage to run all the way in earlier in the game. He needs to get Scorched Earth up. There it goes. Bit of strength sap coming out from Undying, but it's not going to be enough to get kills. Meanwhile on mid lane, let's see how the last hits are going. DK winning? Yeah. Let's say 25% better than Morphling. 25% better than them.
The thing is about DK, he does have the fire breath, and that kind of guarantees him a bit of farm. I mean, Morphling does have waveform, which we just so good at, but the problem with waveform is that it uses so much mana. I mean, yeah, Morphling is incredibly mana dependent early game. One waveform and that's it. He's lost all abilities. But they both got their bottles now, and we're going to see who's going to kind of win the war of the bottles in this game.
Bot tower also about to go down on the Dire side. At the moment, it's just a big argument seeing whether or not it's going to be denied or not. Tidehunter hanging around. Good lift, and they managed to get the tower while he's lifted. So no deny chance for Silent D. Well played for the Raven.
There might be a kill on mid.
Ooh, I'm really surprised. Psionic Lord had brought Alan incredibly low just before that, because you know the other you were saying about waveform high mana cost. The other thing is, if you're using it aggressively to kind of jump past someone and do damage to them, you're then leaving yourself out of position. If you know, if they want to turn around and fight you, you've then got to run back past them.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I was watching the mid game while the bot tower was going down, and Morphling did a very, very good job. Once he grabbed that regen rune, I mean, he brought the Dragon Knight to less than 30 health. So one more right click and he would have killed him. Unfortunately, he didn't want to dive the tower, which was a good decision. We'll see how this game goes. I mean, you can see the safe lane has done pretty brilliantly. David E on the PL, very, very, very quick tier 1. And they're going to keep on pushing this. And if they get a tier 2, that will leave so much space for the PL to farm. It will leave the supports to be able to rotate effectively as well. And, you know, considering how both teams are playing what I would like to call a static game, because they both need levels and visual items before they can do anything. So far, having a tier 1 down at 4 minutes in, it's kind of edging it more towards the Exile. And if they get that tier 2 as well, they're going to have so much free space to do what they want, that it's going to be very problematic for Ad Ultimus, because they're playing the same game, a static game, but when you're playing a static game, the last thing you can lose is 2 towers.
Absolutely.
Within the first 10 minutes.
When you've got that much space controlled by your team and you've got a PL, that basically just means he's going to be able to farm or push lanes or do whatever he wants. You know, what Ad Ultimus want is a lane pushed out in the opposite direction, shut down the PL's options, make it slightly more predictable where he's going to be so that you know where he is to gank, because they're going to need to shut him down. DK's going to pick up the 4-minute rune. Nice quick haste. No big fight going on in the mid as that's contested. And Umag, I was going to say, he just really needs to get either up to the side shop or get the courier sent out to him, because he's been sitting on like 1,000 gold and a stout shield and a ring of protection for quite a long time. But he's got his Bazzy up now, got the boots. He's sitting pretty, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, and considering, I mean, he's only
rotation
got 2
down
hits,
from the mid though. Haste rune going in on Yapplejack, who had TP'd all the way up to mid. Meanwhile, top lane is diving right under the tower as the supports rotate in. Kottle's up here now as well. Looks like they might be able to get a first blood, but no, Dazzle's there. And first blood is taken by Hydra, killing Umag on the Doom. Are they even going to be able to
Yeah,
chest them off
that's-
this tower?
Top tower is
No, this
being
tower's going
attacked.
down.
I mean that's
Dyer's
yeah,
middle
and
tower
that's
is
the
under
beauty
siege.
about the
Dyer's
Dazzle
structures have
is
been
we saw the
fortified.
Undying almost dying there,
Dyer's
but
middle tower is
unfortunately
being attacked.
shallow grave secured that heal for him, and
Yep.
they can push this tower down quite easily.
Radiant's top tower has been destroyed.
So that's a nice exchange. They kind of
Dyer's
brought
middle
it back
tower
within
is
their
being
favor. They
attacked.
secured more space for themselves as well.
I mean, the only downside there for Ad Ulti was that they had to rotate 4 heroes to do that. So okay, they drew equal on towers. They had to rotate an extra hero to do it. So Morphling got a bit of free farm mid, has now managed to overtake the Dragon Knight. But overall, definitely the kind of place here.
Yep. And you have the PL as well, who's hopefully soon will jump into the leaderboard in terms of last hits. He's happy to sit down and farm it against the Tide at this stage because he's got some essential items. He can solo the Tide if necessary. So we'll see how that goes later on in the game once Tide hits 6.
Invis rune now going to be picked up by the Undying. Not sure what they're going to be planning on doing with it. He's in fact just going to be trying to guard it for the bottle carrying Dragon Knight, which is probably the correct choice to make.
Shadow should have denied it.
Needs to get the hell out of here. Manages to pop the clarity on the Undying, which is fairly useful. Now being gone on by Davide. If they've got a lift, they can get a kill here. YapL gets a lift off, and that's 1-1. Potential even for 1-2 if they can get a lot of damage down in the Psionic Lord very quickly. But he's going to take out Coddle on the way out. Alan Inverson now ready for the waveform to get the kill. Beautiful job. So I mean, let's have a quick look at the XP graph, but I think that should probably put Wave just up ahead again. Yeah, okay, by the most infinitesimally small amount. They are now ahead again.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, we can see the huge kind of wave that's fallen back. Once they've taken that tier 1 top, the Dire kind of pulled it back. But in terms of, yeah, I mean, in terms of XP and gold, it's about even, I would say, at this stage in the game. It's going to be important to see who's going to make the better transition into the mid game. Because, as we've mentioned, blinks are very much essential on the Tide.
Oh, 4-man Dire pushing it. Okay, TP's already coming in from Rubik. They're going to need a little bit more here, though. Doom's staying to contest the Brewmaster's farm. Coddle should definitely be here. PL might have a chance on the tier 2 if they wanted to go for a trade, but if they want to slow down this Dire pack middle, they need to do something fast.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the Dazzle there with the heal, and now the Tombstone goes down, and, they're not going to contest this, they're just going to let it go. Which, I don't think that was a good idea. They should have rotated the Coddle. Even if it was just delaying them for a couple more waves,
yeah,
it would have been a lot better. They would have bought, yeah, it would have not only bought them a tier 2, but it might have given them a couple more minutes to farm up the Doom, to farm up the PL. Because, effectively they're just going to rotate bot now by the looks of things and take that tower as well. And you don't want to give them map control, because that's what a team like that seeks, is map control, because their items are not going to come early, and the tower gold makes a huge difference for them, considering the fact that the Tide has done nothing to stack the Ancients or anything like that. So, yeah, and here they are, another quick rotation to bot, and we'll see what happens there.
Another big 5-man. I mean, I think their carries are falling a little bit behind on levels because of this. Oh, and engagement over there in the mid. PL illusion going down. Damn, that PL illusion didn't know what hit it. But I mean, like, these are big rotations. All of this XP is being split for Ad Ulti, so they've got to take the map control and then use the map control. Meanwhile, we've got Morphling farming mid, and the rest of the Radiant pack down on the bot tower.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a big thing. Wave.XIL need levels on the PL, need levels on farm on the Morphling before they can do anything. So Ad Ulti are doing a really smart thing here by, trying to push down quick towers, but they're kind of sacrificing farm and they're sacrificing levels towards.
Oh, but here we go, Blinking Primal Split from Brewmaster. Dragon Knight comes in, there's a Fire Breath, catches 2 heroes, Umar getting really low. Has time to get Doom down on the DK, it looks like. There's Ravage, Yapplejack caught out, David he caught out. Does have the mana for Invis, so he's out. But that's still 2 more kills in favor of Ad Ulti. And the only advantage for Wave is Morphling getting free farm, but that's not going to be enough. So what do you do when all 3 of your tier 1s go down in about 10 minutes, Meta? What's the solution?
Yeah, I mean, the only solution that they have is smoke, rotate through the jungle, try to grab pickoffs, and just kind of put the other team on their feet. Because if they continue with this 5-man push, it's going to be really hard to find the space to farm. And you know, PL needs a lot of farm, and so does Morphling. And if you don't manage to secure that with 4-man rotations, then effectively you're going to lose the game, because these guys just have amazing push tower at the moment, amazing, you know, ability to push, and they're just going to keep doing that. Their ultis have kind of medium to short cooldowns. I mean, I know it's around like 100 seconds, give or take, but that is sufficient enough for them to kind of continuously push every minute and a half.
I mean,
yeah, that's what you need to do. You need the levels, you need the farm, because otherwise the other team are going to take it.
I mean, I think what Wave don't have and what they really need, like maybe instead of the Rubik, if they manage to pick up something like a Shadow Shaman, something to just put down in front of the towers, you know, or a Disruptor, or something that's really just hard. Stop right there, stop where you're going. A bit like the Coddle is, but the Coddle can just dish out bursts of damage and himself is very squishy, so he can actually be dope. Then this would be perfect, because either the PL or the Morphling could just be off farming for the whole game, and you could run a really good 4 Protect 1.
Yeah, I mean, the Shadow Shaman was banned by Ad Ultimus, which was a smart ban from them. But you're right, I mean, Kotl does not add anything to this game. The whole point of Kotl is to get early first tier 1s, and if you're in this position where you've lost your tier 1s, then you've cut down Kotl's effectiveness by half, because he becomes incredibly defensive, and I think he's one of the best kind of aggressive lane pushing supports. You're right, he has low base strength, which makes him incredibly squishy in those team fights, and if he doesn't hit his Illuminates, what are you going to do then? You know, wait another 5 seconds, and then he probably die by a Blink Dagger.
Well, like right now, I mean, I don't know. I do feel that Ad Ultimus have got the momentum that they need to win this game, certainly. But when I look at these rotations, and you kind of got 4 people going down to the bot lane to try and catch out Morphling, who just morphs away, no problem, starts farming the jungle. It just makes me wonder, I mean, if at any point they kind of get a 15-minute lull without these big objectives being taken, like if the Wave does manage to get the rotations they need to, just hold them back. I can't see how that wouldn't go in favor of the Wave, so long as they don't throw away kills.
Yeah, I completely agree there, in the sense of if Ad Ultimus takes a break and slows the game down, they will definitely lose it, because PL can farm very quickly, and so can the Morph, and they become quite dangerous late game, depending on what they build on them. So we'll see what happens soon enough. I mean, we already have a Blink on the Brew. Tide is 100 gold away from his Blink. Yeah, so about 100-200 gold away from his Blink. Mech is going to be up soon on the Undying, plus the Shallow Wave and Shallow Grave. They're going to push this hard, and there's going to be nothing to stop them, I think.
Yeah, they're going Rosh.
They're going for Rosh at the moment.
Just when I saw them go in that area, I was like, wait, they actually could. They've got the heals, they've got the Shallow Grave, they've got the crits. Can Brewmaster Drunken Haze Roshan to give him a mischance?
I'm not sure whether he can or not. That's a good question. Maybe we should put it out to the forum.
Anybody watching, please do let us know.
Tower is under attack. Dire has fortified its structures.
But yeah, I mean, the Morphling is kind of trying to get his Lincolns. He's about 1,000 gold away at the moment. Lincoln's good decision for this game, but the problem is he's not going to be able to do any damage till after he builds something else on top of that Lincoln's. So, you know, his farm is going to be delayed massively, and considering that Ad Ultimus is probably going to rotate to take a tier 2 now, is he going to have the time to farm? That's the question.
That's true. I mean, it's notable. Wave aren't behind on towers now. They've caught up. They've taken down all of the tier 1s. Nobody's lost a tier 2 yet. And I mean, I don't know. Yep. Well, you're absolutely right. Here we go. Ad Ultimus doing the push. Uncle, you called this. You do the action.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, I mean, like this is not being contested. PL, he just CP'd back. Good. I mean, at the moment, Tombstone's gone down already. Yeah, they're just going to frontline tank it, leaving Dazzle in the background, and you can't really do much against that. And worst comes to worst, Brewmaster is going to ulti, and you're watching this now. you know, the frontline heroes are doing the tanking, the backline heroes are just...
There's the Ravage. Beautiful placement from the Tide. Manages to catch 4 heroes. Possibly even 5 actually, I'm not sure if Alan was caught. Davidy now just trying to fight the edges. Psionic Lord being brought really low by two of the wave cores, and then a beautiful waveform from Morphling. Actually kills 2, but Aegis out on Undying. Davidy now caught by stuns. Going down, and that's 290 gold. Straight to the Dragon Knight. Nice Centaur Stomp coming out from Umag, who's been picking up the I think the right skill with his Devour. They really need more just kind of area disables. But yeah, I wouldn't say this has gone well for Wave so far. They have managed to defend the tower so far, but they're just going to come straight back.
Yeah, and here is our adult. As I mentioned, you know, Mech is almost up on Undying, but they have the heals coming from all over the place. They have 4 incredibly tanky heroes, and Wave.XIL can't afford to take extended team fights. The biggest problem for Wave.XIL at the moment is the Dazzle. And soon enough it's going to be the mech on Undying. If you can't kill those healers, you're pretty much having to fight these heroes 3 or 4 times, because you get the Bruin low enough, he'll get shallow waved and mech'd. You get him low enough again, he's going to use his ult and split. You're going to get the Dragon Knight low enough, it's the same thing, an Undying heal might come up. And that's not the kind of team fight that favors Wave.XIL at the moment. And as I mentioned, who are you going to doom in that situation? Are you doing the Brewmaster? Are you doing the Undying? Are you doing the Dragon Knight? They can still afford to stay in those team fights because they have heals. So, you know, the duration on the Doom, it's not going to be long enough to scare any of these heroes to not fight.
Yeah, they'll just back up a little bit, get healed, let somebody else take the front line for a while, wait for Doom to wear off, and then come straight back in. It's a problem. I don't think XIL they've got a very greedy lineup, and so at this kind of mid-stage in the game, they don't have anything. Say they get a great initiation on Doom. Say it goes down on the most important hero that's there, and you know they outnumber them in this situation, and they go in. What do? They can do quite a lot of burst damage, but they don't have nearly enough control. And their carries aren't going to be doing anything really for quite a while. Here's the primal split. It's coming down.
Tide has Ravage up.
Ravage is
if
up.
Tide blinks in now, Ravage is up. So if Tide Ravages at any point now at the right time, I mean he's not using it. So
keeping it in the bank. Alan and Inverson though at the same time managing to pull out a killing spree. He needs a special shout out here.
Really, yeah, I mean
Alan,
he did a
on
really
the
nice kill. He killed the Dazzle, which was a really great kill. It's the right target at the time. Unfortunately, Doom died too quickly to be able to do anything.
And 4 kills for Alan.
Fantastic, beautiful kill there. He's kind of recovering some of that farm. He already has his Lincolns up, which is really nice. Although, you know, I've seen Davidy do this a lot, and it gets him into a lot of trouble, in my opinion. He always pushes in, even though he might be on 200 or 300 health. And any rotation from any hero at that stage, if they catch you, you're gonna die. And as the farm carry, you honestly don't want to be wandering in around the map at around 300 or 200 health, because it's just not the right thing to do. Especially with smoke and rotations that could happen at any moment.
Yeah, it's really risky, and I mean I actually think Ad Ulti could be doing more. They're doing a fairly good job at stopping his push. You know, again they've managed to take the lead on the towers now, but they haven't even had to commit overly much to it. Like I get the feeling if they really wanted to focus down the PL rather than take the objectives and take the towers, they could probably do it. We just haven't seen any big smoke ganks on the PL or a nice setup where someone's hiding in the trees or anything like that. It's just been straightforward. Chase him off when he gets near the tower, and they'll take the tower quicker. Yeah.
They don't need to though. That's the beauty about it. They don't need to. If PL wants to take a 2-2 down, be my guest. What's happening on the other side of the map is not only Ad Ultimus is grabbing a tower, but they're also grabbing a few kills. And that will always mean that they're going to pull ahead of the situation. And you see another rotation now. They're going to take the last external tower, and try to get that complete map control. They're very much playing objectively, which is our objective is to kind of push down the external towers, push down on their door, and win these team fights. And as far as I can see, they're doing that effectively.
They said, I mean, have a look at the net worth chart though. It was a bit of a surprise for me, but Morphling and PL both, you know, firmly established at the top. Especially the Morphling, who's actually miles ahead of anybody else. Like they're actually getting to the stage now where they can do these kind of big pushes with one of those heroes and force some rotations out from the Dire pack, so they can't go in as 5 anymore. And that's always going to add a bit of uncertainty. Like they want to go on this Brewmaster now, or at least try and force out the ulti.
Yeah. And your beauty about it, I don't know whether you've noticed on the mid tier 3.
Oh wow. Oh wow, who did that? Was that Davide?
I think it was a combination of the... Yeah, it's a combination of PL and the Morphling. You kind of... That's the beauty about split fishes like that, is you don't notice what they're doing. And to be honest, you know, that tower, one more hit, it's on 32 health. It's just going to go down. You could probably backdoor this if you really wanted to. Like, kind of smoke into it, hit it once, and it's going to go down. So, you're right. It's when you said it's just a case of Wave.XIL just have to hold on for a little bit while this is happening, and they'll get their farm up. And this is what we're seeing now. We're seeing between the whole 5-man early commit, we're going to push towers down, compared to, guys, we have split pushes, we have really great farmers, let's try to farm them up, let's give them those towers if they really, really want them, and when we're ready, we're going to fight them. And, you know, even though Ad Ultimus is slightly ahead, they're not ahead enough for it to make a huge difference.
Davide popping a very strange TP there. Does manage to bait out the DK enough to get a Doom down on him though, and this is going to be quite big. They are going to have to do very fast rotations
he should
back.
really back at the moment.
Okay, Davide run. Undying is there, and that again has just muted the Dire push mid. They've still got Brewmaster and Titan what to go down, get a bit of damage on.
Yeah, and with the Dazzle, they I mean, Applejack, they kind of Rubik can't do anything here really to stop this push. Some rotations would be nice.
They need Coddle, I think, just to get rid of that creep wave, and then the hero damage can all be healed up afterwards.
Ah, but look at Stan and Allen Iverson. He's pushing the bot tower down. He's forced the rotation the other way around.
I think one of the smartest things Wave could have done there is skip the wave mid, just to give themselves some space and make sure that even if that Brew and Tide had stayed down there, they wouldn't have been able to get any damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty about it. What are you going to do? Who are you going to sacrifice? And, like, to be completely honest, I think it was a mistake not to commit to a tier 3 when they were bot and they had Ravage up. You grabbed a few kills. Obviously, the heroes were on half health, but you took the Doom out, you took the Rubik out, you took the Kotl out. It was an interesting thing to have Ravage up and to have a few other ultis up and decide not to push. You kind of slowed the game down, and that's the last thing you want to do against a team which has Cancer Lancer in it, basically, is to slow it down. You want to keep it at a fast pace, and you want to keep continuing to push. And, you know, Ad Ultimus is going to pay for that now, because this is a stage where they have to have at least 1 or 2 people defending at any time, because PL or Morphling can take these towers down really, really quickly. And with a team like theirs, you can't commit with a 3-man push. You know, who are you going to place there? Brewmaster does have some damage, he does have split, but there is no AoE, he can be stopped. Are you going to commit the Dragon Knight, who's your best pusher, who's your hardest carry? Who are you going to put on the defense? Are you going to put Tide alone against the Diffusal PL or against the Morphling?
No.
With a Linkens? It's just not going to work. What is he going to do? He's going to ravage into Linkens? You know, it's not effective. Are you going to place back the Mech Builder, the Undying? Well, that means you lost your effectiveness in team fights. Are you going to put the Dazzle back? In which case, you've also lost half of your effectiveness.
It's going to be hard for them to come back here. And I mean, the weird thing is, it actually is a question of comeback now. Wave are ahead in, not in kills, but they're ahead in gold, they're ahead in XP, and they're ahead in towers now. And that's not even counting that mid tower, which, as you rightly pointed out, just needs to be sneezed on, really. And just while we're paused, before Umo manages to get back, quick shout out to C7 and Fat Lazy Cat from the Twitch chat. I'm going to check out that top streamers site. That looks quite interesting. But I've been voted for, and I'm hugely gratified. Thanks, guys.
Oh, that's sweet of them.
I know, right? Awesome. They're awesome. Yeah, and actually, I haven't been looking enough at the items this game. So Diffusal and Yasha both out on PL. David E wisely choosing to keep it at level 1. So I just mentioned that because me and him have talked about it before. Keeping it at level 1 until all the active charges are used before the upgrade, because I don't build many Diffusal items, and I played with him and I didn't. I just upgraded straight away and he got mad.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Any Diffusal player will tell you that, because like obviously you're spending the gold. I mean, ignoring the fact that the upgrade is 850, but effectively you just bought an item for 3,300. And I know this off by heart because I build a lot of Diffusal blade. You've got 8 charges on it. You want to use these charges because that's the difference between gaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean it's not going to get because effectively the way I build it is this. A single Diffusal charge can guarantee a kill on a lot of heroes. Some heroes might need to, like if you're going up against an Ursa or something and you're scared of fighting her, because obviously a Fury Swipe or whatever, you might need to use a Diffusal charge, hit her a bit, run away, and then use the other one. But generally, a Diffusal charge effectively should guarantee you a kill. So to upgrade it immediately to level 2, that means you've just wasted 8 kills.
Yeah, okay. I was noob once.
Okay, it's fair enough. No, I mean, obviously everyone watching the stream would probably know this, but it's still just kind of to know the calculations behind it and the reasoning behind it.
Don't be a noob.
What's going to be interesting now, although what I would like to see Ad Ultimus do, which they've done earlier, which they should be doing at this stage, is before they take any other team fight, they should secure Rush. They should secure him very, very quickly, and then try to push the high ground. Because they're running out of options, and Morphling is incredibly hard to gank because he could just either waveform out or use his ult to get out. Doom can run away in most cases, not if it was a 5-man gank. Kotl lift and run away, PL invis out. So your only option if you're at Ad Ultimus is you're not going to find rotations through smoke and through the jungle won't guarantee you anything. You want to push out the waves as far as you can, secure that rush, and push the high ground as quickly as you can. Otherwise, you are going to start losing the game.
But I mean, it's tricky though. Like they were doing it. I think one of the reasons they got such momentum early game is because the lanes always were really well pushed. So it wasn't a question of alright, well now we need to push out top and bottom's pushing in. They really could just go 5-man from lane to lane to lane. Always they were pushed out, didn't have to worry about backing up and defending. Now that whole momentum shift, look at the minimap. They've mid lane's already gone back to the halfway mark despite that huge push coming out from Ad Ultimus earlier. And the 2 side lanes are, knocking on the doorstep. This is bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news.
And I mean yeah, and it's going to hurt them quite a lot doing that. And they rotated very quickly once they've all hit 6. And they grabbed the Blink and the Brew, and they secured the 3 tier 1s. But the problem is they didn't push that momentum, and you're exactly right. Against the PL, you don't want to sit back and let him farm, because you're just going to pay for it. And I want to give a shout out as well to David E, because the work that he's been doing with Wave.XIL has been massive, and the games that have been playing, their improvement is amazing. And as someone who has an eye for the game and as a drafter, as their captain, you have to give a level of appreciation. Not only putting them together, but also keeping an eye out for how he should draft and when he drafts. And he's a great drafter as well. So I guess his calls within this game of choosing to split push or letting the Morphling farm in some cases are paying off very, very well.
And he's judging his calls wisely. Keeping most of his team on their side of the river. It's always going to have to be Ad Ulti being aggressive until Wave are ready to take the fight to them. But sorry, you were saying.
And the work that he's done with Exile and the fact that you see this amazing improvement from the time that they started up to now. I know they're working with a stand-in, but still, the kind of level of improvement that they've had since they started up as a team is massive. And that's down to everyone's hard work. But you also have to give a special shout out to the team captain for that as well.
Absolutely, and this is also quite a good match in line with some of the things that have been going on in their practices recently, because I mean, I don't know, because both views are good. Whether or not you try and run a kind of hard strategy of your own, like they are doing here with the Kotl PL, and then maybe pick a few things around it, which work, but you've got your strategy in mind. or whether you try and go for a
Dire's
hard
middle
counter.
tower
And I
is being
definitely
attacked.
feel that, you
Dire's
know, I mean,
middle
the
tower
PL
has
coddle
fallen.
is one of Davidy's like staples. He loves PL coddle.
Yeah.
And just kind of having the faith, not needing to say, okay, they got Brewmaster. I think I mentioned in the draft before we got the sound sorted out that I think they actually
Radiant's
counted them
top
quite well.
tower is under
But they were
siege.
picking what they wanted, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and you know, Ad Ultimus also picked what they wanted. They went for a quick push. It's just unfortunate that they kind of sat back. Because if they didn't sit back, if they kept the pressure up into tier 2s, then you would have had a lot of map control a lot of early on. You might have sacrificed a few towers earlier in the game, but that means the space wouldn't have been bought for Morphling or PL, which, as the game as it stands now, we saw Morphling just go in and try to grab that last hit on the mid one. I mean, considering how farmed they are, you only need one creep, and you're effectively going to take racks if Ad Ultimus are not going to pay attention. As I mentioned, though, they're trying to secure that rush, and they're going to try to push high ground.
It's taking a really long time though, and they were spotted out by Wave. There was an obs just up there, they didn't smoke in or anything. Wave know this is going on, which I think is why we're seeing Morphling and PL, you know, the unholy alliance, joining forces up on this top lane, because they're just gonna rush this down, and the Rosh is abandoned. So that's a decent bit of wasted time for Ad Ulti. Ravage forced out, and I don't think they're going to be able to get kills off it if Davide backs out nicely now. And the Invis goes down. Alan's willing to fight for a little while, but with the rest of the team coming in, just quickly relocates out. Wow, they're playing good.
And
now.
like, I mean,
they're playing good. They're in the zone.
I mean, yeah, and what can you do against that? I mean, every time you try to go for an objective, you know you're going to sacrifice a tower, and in the case of no external towers, you're going to sacrifice a rack.
No external. They don't have a tier 3 mid went down. I'm not sure. Just to like.
Yeah. But effectively, you know, they can push top, they can push bot, they can push mid, and you're gonna have to contest those pushes now because you're gonna lose a rack when these pushes happen. While before that, you had the protection of a tier 1 and a tier 2.
Yeah, even a tier 3 if you're going to get racks in exchange can be worth it. Dazzle using Shallow Grave on himself. That must have been a misclick. That Undying will be screaming at him right now. Oh, that was unfortunate. I mean, it's only one kill. It's not a big deal. Just an unfortunate misclick.
And it's on a support character.
Of course.
But you know, it's a kill. It's a kill towards the Morphling. And do you really want to give the guy with the highest last hits in the game, 183 last hits and 5 denies, another kill?
Yep. And just look at the split push now. Like, Ad Ulti are just forced to run from back, top to bottom to mid, to top to bottom to mid. Look, they're running up top now to deal with the actual Morphling. And they can't even take the whole team. Tide's got to go bottom to deal with the Wave.
Yeah. And like, worst comes to worst, is Morph strength, and he's going to try and TP out. I don't know whether he's going to achieve that or not in time.
See, like, what I think they need to do now, given big fight going on top, Morphling possibly going to go down. Actually, Morphing strength taken down by Dragon Knight, and that's a lot of gold for him.
Yeah.
All the rest of the waves nicely pushed out.
5-1.
Davidy's sitting under a sentry. I hope he doesn't want to rely on this. Don't try to invis. And he's down.
Yeah, that's my problems with the PL pushes that he does. You saw that he was on like 200 health there. If he was on full health, or 2/3 health, he might have been able to get away. Not guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure he would have had a better chance of getting away if he had more health. But he's the kind of player who constantly does that, who pushes on their health. But due to those 2 kills, the 2 split pushes, the 2 hard carries, that's a Roshan secure for Ad Ultimus.
And I think it's quite telling that Wave have managed to get to a stage where that means that it's a Roshan rather than a Rax. But yeah, certainly big plays for Ad Ultimus. I was a bit worried that they would try and push, because I think that would probably just have been bad for them. But the Roshan is a nice thing. They can grab it now, give them advantage for the next 5-on-5 team fight, and the Wave's beginning to look a little bit more friendly from their perspective.
Has been killed.
Yeah, and I think a big part of what they're going to do is they're going to have to push mid racks at the moment. Obviously, you have the Doom farm and top and everything, but you need to secure that rack, so you need to make sure your racks don't go down. And obviously, you might lose a tier 3, but if you can secure racks and maybe a few kills, they might just go for the tier 4 and try to end it there.
Yeah.
Because that's the only option that they have at the moment. And the Aegis went on the Dragon Knight, which is a good choice. Having said that,
I don't know.
they still don't have a huge damage output. I mean, they don't have big damage dealers.
All Wave have to do is
and
not
that's going to
focus
be
the
a
Dragon
problem.
Knight, and they can win this.
Radiant structures have been fortified.
Yeah, I mean, even the Dragon Knight, he's doing like 120 exactly in terms of lost damage, and that's nothing.
Doom going down on Brew. They're going to want to chase this right now. Ravage goes down to block it off. Tide also popping Shivas. Rubik dropped down immediately. Umag now taking the brunt of the assault. Alan Everson trying to rush in the back lines, trying to confuse the fight, then just replicates out. Well played by him. I think Wave now just need to back off. The Tombstone is being forced down outside of the base. There's Primal Split though coming out from Brew, and the stun drops down on Umag. He's close enough to the base to make it work though. Meanwhile, Morphling pushing out bot lane. PL looping around behind the pack. Just wants to take out this Tombstone, I think. It's going to be a little bit dangerous. No sentry around here there for Dire though. Probably would have been a good choice. The sentry's up here, which means that he's in trouble. He's been spotted. There's a Flame Breath, and David just gets nuked down immediately. Morphling back in the fight, doing a lot of damage to Brewmaster. The Coral Blast coming in, Illuminate doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately not to DK, who is now popped his BKB before the Aegis. Probably not the best call. Could have died. Come back. Maybe this wouldn't have had to have been such a hard retreat. Ray, I think, Ray, obviously, AD's a team. Ray in big trouble, taking a lot of harass from the whole team as they chase him down. Tidehunter trying to help out, but I think probably just going to get picked off himself. So that ended up at one barracks going down, one ranged barracks,
and
not a huge lead at all. XIL just needs to take something back here.
Yeah, and considering the fact that you know, Ravage is on cooldown, Primal Split is on cooldown. Effectively, their big team fight ultis that allow them to take these extended team fights are all down. That's a wrap. Even with the buybacks, what can you do against diffusals and other things?
I mean, they don't have creeps. This is all going to be backdooring. The creeps are still miles away, just crossing the river. DK taking so much of this early damage, but of course he does still have the Aegis. David E. Invis backing out. Doom has gone down, so is Shallow Grave. David E. working on this DK, knows that he's going to be low soon. DK dead. Dead, but Aegis of course unpopped. Umag now possibly a little bit out of position. Morphling TP's out beautifully, drawing off that Brewmaster. Umag making use of that Centaur Stomp. I was wondering whether maybe he should go for a Wolf Aura, but evidently not. David E. dusted, desperately trying to get away from the pack. Can't make it. Not quite as much gold this time. But yeah, big moves, big plays. Still have the Morphling up though. He managed to get out, so I don't think this is going to be an easy push from for Ad Ulti, but not what Wave wanted either. They needed.
Yeah, I mean they're going to try. Yeah, and like you saw what I meant with the extended team fights. With the Dazzle being there, with the Undying, with the mech up as well. Like Ad Ultimus are really happy to take team fight after team fight if necessary. I mean their ulti being down might not be ideal for them, but you know they have so many heals on that side and they have so many tanky heroes that they're not going to care that much.
Shadow's been caught out though, not retreating fast enough, does manage to get the 4-staff. Psionic Lord though being brought so low, and he's dead as soon as the telekinesis ends. Ravage goes down, Alan Everson looking really low, surrounded by Brewmaster Spirits, taken down. Umag being chased out so much slow. He's going to fall as well. Morphling is immediately brought back, looking to come in for a kill. And I mean this is a very large commitment from Ad Ulti, but they're going to get the racks for it, so it really cannot be argued that it pays off. Primal Split wears off. Alan Emerson now looking to come in. Rubik has come in with Primal Split himself. Needs to get the stomps down. I just don't think they have enough damage, but they've got more damage coming in now. There's the Coral Blast. David, he's up. PL ready to make Undying pay. He's being brought so low. He has absolutely no mana. The Rubik Spirits now doing a huge amount of damage. There's a nice lift. And that's 3 down, but they still need to get more of these cores. Either one will do here. Looks like Brewmaster's going to go down. I think Primal Split had actually just come off cooldown if I was reading that casting animation correctly. And Tidehunter brought down as well, just trying to get a final kill on Shadow, doesn't quite make it. Wow, was that a buyback on the DK? No, the DK just died first. So there is going to be some defense.
Yeah.
It wasn't a nice clean team wipe where they've got 80 seconds on everyone, but are they going to be able to take racks here?
I think they should, but having David in such low health is going to be problematic. But he needs to get healed before they can go in, because obviously, you know, considering the fact that he's on 300 health, that's a flame breath and a couple right clicks and you're gonna die.
Mm.
And you don't want to be in that position. I mean, they have some nice items up. The Doom has the AC up. See?
Yeah.
I mean,
David, he just can be forced back by just the DK. Needs heals.
and I mean, obviously losing the rack was a big thing for Wave.XIL. But they do have split fishes, so it's not losing one set of racks is not a problem. The problem is what's gonna Ad Ultimus do next? Are they gonna go for a second set of racks, or are they just gonna push the tier 4s with their lineup that's incredibly tanky and can take team fight after team fight?
Quick shout out to Shadowman,
know,
by the way, in the Wave chat for answering one of our earlier questions. Yeah, he thinks Drunken Haze does affect Roshan. At the time that was actually asked, which was quite a while ago, I'm sorry I was a bit slow in the chat there, Drunken Haze wasn't actually leveled, but I'm going to keep my eye out for that next time Roche pops up, which will be 2 to 5 minutes from now. Somewhere in that kind of range.
It's about 2 minutes, I would say, yeah. Give or take.
Well, the countdown's just annoying. You know, that countdown will be to the 8-minute mark, and then it's an additional 2 to 3. Such a weird way of doing it now.
Valve, fix Valve. Too confusing.
Too confusing. Please fix. Cannot handle. One weird item pickup on Psionic Lord. I really like the Vlads. I think it's pretty much an essential pickup for their team, given that they have 4 melees. But I don't think it should have been DK getting it, and I think they should have got it ages ago. Like that should have been, I don't know, maybe like the Undying second. Jeez, he's only got mech. Never mind.
Yeah, but I mean, like
maybe on the
that
tide
gives
before
another...
the Shivas or something. It's a good pickup, but DK's going to have to sell it soon because he's core. He'll be farming fast. He'll need to 6 slot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an interesting pickup as well. I mean, considering the fact that it's again giving you the extended opportunity to fight for a very long time.
Absolutely.
And considering how, you know, Morphling doesn't have a Scardia or anything, so he tends to be quite squishy. PL just only sitting on 2,000 gold. He's nowhere close to half, so he's also quite squishy. And I mean, obviously the Doom has the AC BKB, but you know, you can't tank all the damage output that's coming out from him. He's going to lose if he tries to do that by himself.
And the one thing that Doom can't disable is auras. You know, you'll still get your lifesteal and +2 armor and all the rest of it from
you're still going to get the mech. Yeah, you're still going to get meched up. You're still going to get healed up by Dazzle and Lying, so you could just... Whoever he's going to do, that person is just going to be able to stand there, take the damage, and not even worry about it.
At the same time, Ad Ulti now being forced to a very defensive position by the giant horde of PLs who are rushing up the lane. David, though, being caught out, I'm not entirely sure what the plan was here. He needs to run. He's been dusted.
Yeah, I mean, I do appreciate he wants... Yeah. I do appreciate he wants to secure the racks, but at this stage in the game, you really can't secure the racks. And the Undying is going down to Umarg on the Doom there.
Good job, Doom. I didn't actually see the kill, but...
Yeah, they were having like a little tiff and taff up in the top lane, and then Undying just got doomed, so like...
Just murdered.
Like, you really can't do... Yeah, you can't do much about that, really. 1v1... Doom's generally going to win against a lot of heroes. But yeah, we saw a big part of it is the quick buyback from Undying, because they know PL is down, they know that Wave.XILs can't split push at the moment. So what are they going to do? They're going to go and try to take another objective. The kind of waves might not be in their favor in general, but they have one set of racks down. So they can be secure in knowing that they can push without having to worry.
So if I didn't go up another chapter, I don't know, Alan. Yeah, I think he got confused there. This is Dota, not the local maternity center.
Oh, okay.
They can't read. But good to know. Good to know.
And also, this is like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, they can't say our stuff. We can say whatever you want. Davide, you suck.
No, I think.
Lol.
I mean, Wave.XIL had a great strategy, but Ad Ultimus recovered very quickly in terms of trying to continue to take objective to execute their game plan. And you know, we saw a big momentum shift towards Wave.XIL kind of mid-game. The big problem is at this moment in time, you know, Wave.XIL do not have tanky heroes with the exception of the Doom. And if the Doom gets burst down too quickly, then you're going to lose team fight. A big problem as well is the Kotal and the Rubik are being burst down in those team fights. And you know, if the Rubik was to survive for long enough to be able to steal Ravage or whatever it is, then that could make a great impact. Having said that, at this stage in the game, Illuminate does absolutely nothing.
This is going to be big, FYI. Note that Ad Ulti are pushing down the mid lane. They've already got the racks here, so this is pretty much, they're either looking for a team fight and a wipe, or they're going to rotate bot at the last minute. Never mind. They go rotate bot. I thought they were just going to push straight into tier 4s, try and take one last fight and take the throne before the carries on XIL got much bigger. But no, they're happy.
Yep.
But it's just, okay, just look at these DK items. No damage items, which is a mistake I often make on DK, so I can totally appreciate that. But and I think it might be because the Undying's farm has just sucked.
He popped his BKB. He popped his BKB by mistake. They're gonna have to wait another minute.
Oh my gosh.
And he just used an 8-second BKB. Just I think it was a misclick. It was a massive misclick.
Must have been, yeah.
But I mean, that kind of is.
That is not good.
They really can't push now because.
Well, Brew says they can. Brew is determined to prove himself right. What they're doing instead is sending DK back to deal with the push coming out from PL and Morphling. Now, to me, what this screams is, as soon as they find out that DK is there, they should both go back and try and wipe this Dire pack. They can go 5 on 4
I think they
here.
should be able
got
to.
a chance.
They want the racks. They
but they're going to go for the DK up here.
Really want that rack.
He's low. Undying's come back up as well. And Tide. Yep, the whole bunch are coming back. So the real question is, are these guys going to be able to pick off anything back here? And they are. They're going to pick off Dazzle. Dazzle for nothing.
But I mean, he's a support. Yeah, he's a support. He has a short cooldown. He'll be back up every time that they need to push. I think one thing is that PL should have gone half before he went for the Manta style. I appreciate that the Manta does help with a split push if you're trying to split push. But against a team that likes to have team fights, and against a team that likes to have these extended team fights, what's more essential than that is the tank up rather than the split push. Because, you know, either way, Manta gives you 2 more illusions. The Heart will give you same number of illusions, but with higher strength. And I would rather have, personally, I would rather have more illusions that are harder to kill while I have my diffusal so that they can push the racks down. That means I can team fight rather than what they're doing.
Oh jeez, meanwhile, big fight going down bot. Sorry, I was watching the PL push, but that's totally not where the action is. The tower's got basically no damage. Bad Fortify coming out from Radiant. Alan Iverson in real trouble here. And he just goes straight down to the Tide nukes. Doom come out with BKB. Doom the DK. Probably not going to be enough to kill him, but going to force him back from the fight. Meanwhile, Primal Split only just now going down. Going for a chase on the Coddle.
The Brew does have a refresher. So he used the refresher, used the ulti again.
And that's just devastating. That is just absolutely devastating. Adray being brought fairly low, but just going to TP home. Hydra now gets the blink off perfectly as soon as the Primal Split ends, and they're just forced into a very, very long chase here. Now, especially with Dazzle coming down the other side, they're just not going to be able to do anything with this. I don't think so. Maybe kill the Dazzle. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
but the important thing, of course... Oh, wow.
Oh,
yes!
Wow, he got best
Wolf
down
Aura.
before the Shallow Grave could go.
Who called Wolf Aura? Wolf Aura. Best thing on Doom late game. Especially when you're dealing with a load of summons like PL who are all going to be benefiting from that crit chance. Psionic Lord popping BKB again. I don't think it was needed. They weren't going to get the kill. And they didn't need it defensively.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is they forced buybacks. They didn't, they didn't grab a secondary racks from that push. And that's really, really good for Wave.XIL at the moment. The big problem is when Alan went down on the Morphling, he went down for 100 seconds. If that Morphling dies again in any team fight, and considering how he does not have buyback, it's going to be very, very, very problematic. And, you know, they're going to get punished for it. basically the next team fight is going to decide it all, and we're seeing Ad Ultimus going for, this time it's going to have cheese, it's going to be Rush with cheese, and
that might be game. FYI, Drunken Haze confirmed. We are watching it affect Roche as we speak. Drunken Haze, such a ridiculously powerful ability. It's just like what? 75% miss chance for 8 seconds every 8 seconds. What?
Yeah, I think
What?
the target this game.
Roshan
Gonna
has
catch it.
been killed by the Dire.
I think the support's positioning, if Rubik positions himself well and be able to steal Ravage, that would make a huge difference. Just so right there.
Right call,
I mean, imagine. Yeah, but you saw like 1 fire breath and all the illusions has died. While in fact, if he had a heart,
that's what he needs,
rather than a manta.
Yeah.
You know, at least the illusions would have stayed there for a bit longer, caused a bit of mana issues or mana problems for the DK. While these illusions at the moment, they're just too weak. They're just too weak to do anything.
Just going down in a second. I mean, I'm so sure it's his next item because I see him build heart all the time. But it's just with the amount of AOE damage that Ad Ulti have. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to kill weak illusions. So just make your illusions slightly stronger, and they can't be instantly burst down. And if they can't be instantly burst down, then even if you're just getting 5 seconds whenever your illusions get there, that's, you know, fairly frequent. It's a lot of damage. But if all it takes is just buff and they're all dead, that's, you know, 0 damage times 1,000 is still 0.
Yeah. I mean, it's ineffective. I mean, hopefully now, I mean, a big problem is Exile supports have been burst down in those team fights very quickly. They don't have the opportunity to do anything compared to how much strength Ad Ultimus the Ad Ultimus team have. And I think if they can just hold on for a little bit longer, they can make a huge difference towards these team fights.
Yapple, get that courier.
Although I don't
get the courier, bro.
I do not agree with this. I think Kotal is going Aghanims, and I don't agree with this at all. I know since the buff, a lot of people have been saying that the Kotal ult is amazing and everything like that, but Kotal is not the type of hero that you need to build Aghanims on him. What's the difference between having your ult all the time and having it every minute or two? For him, it doesn't make that much a huge difference. He might have could have used a Yule. Yeah, a Yule would have been nice, a sheep stick. Yeah, just any kind of disable item in this game would have made a much bigger difference. And look at his Illuminate, it's going to do almost no damage.
Yeah, Rack's going down on both sides right now. I think Wave might actually just choose to go for a base rush. They're going to have Glyph in a second, probably earlier than Dire are. But no, they're TPing back. I think that was probably a mistake. They could really have made something happen if they tried to go for a base rush here. Primal Split just going down on the Brewmaster, focusing down on the Allen. He's just started to morph strength. He is actually making it out, but there's Ravage, and that'll be enough to finish it off. A doomed Shallow Grave DK is just wandering around providing damage. Nice steal and use of Ravage by Yapple.
A nice Ravage steal. Yeah.
Oh, and David, he finishing off the. Was that that was a DK? Brewmaster now.
Yeah, and then he's going
trigger finger on the refresher. Oh no, refresher's down.
He doesn't have enough mana for it.
But the cooldown. He's going to be killed by Rubik, but he does have Aegis. But he's going to be alone. Dazzler's rushing down the wave.
They should be able to kill him. It would have been nice if PL did have a defusal.
And there's a lift.
Nice lift. Magic stick, David E. Use those 15 charges. You need those.
There they are. Yes. There they are. And oh. So that was 1 lane of racks each, and I don't know. This is just. Is this the turnaround that Wave needs? Is it enough? It's now 2 racks to 1.
Now though, 2 racks to 1, and that's the bit. I mean, Cancellance. He's sitting on 6,700 gold, so that will be his heart coming out fully. And you know, you might say it's 2 lanes of racks, but considering what they're up against, it's doable. Considering that there's a heart on a PL, it's doable at the moment. And we saw
does
that.
not have buyback, neither does Tide, neither does Undying. DK just got buyback.
A big part of what made that team fight winnable is the fact that you had the Rubik surviving for long enough. He stole Ravage, and that was a great Ravage from him. He put Ad Ultimus on the back foot with that, and you know, they paid for it. And I think in the earlier team fights, the reason why that wasn't happening was simply because the supports were being burst down too quickly, so they didn't have enough time to kind of use their abilities effectively. Although I think, you know, David E, just buy that heart. You do have buyback. Buy that level 2.
Get the heart, get the next Roche, and GG. Wave win.
Yeah. And this is what he's doing is really nice. He's been doing that all game, trying to split push on the map wherever possible, keeping the wave pushed out as much as possible, buying enough time for his buying enough time for his team to recover, and you know that's brilliant gameplay on his behalf. Obviously, he's paid for it a couple times because he's been doing that on such low health, but in this game so far, it's kind of paying off for him to some extent. In terms of making sure that the Morphling comes back and he's alive. Oh,
and wow, Brewmaster being brought so low there just by a bit of light PL harass. And the Primal Split is forced out in response. David E, that's enough. That's enough, but yes, good job.
Yeah. Yappo's there. He's like, no, you're being forced off out. We're not fighting this at the moment. I know it's a mega creep wave, but
David E, leave. Leave. Go heal, or at least come pick up a heart.
The thing is I appreciate why he's doing this. Yeah, I appreciate why he's doing this, but he is taking so much damage from those creeps. So many. Like, why? Like, let your illusion stand in front. Why are you standing in the middle of the creeps? They're just all hitting you. And yeah, I mean, they might go for racks, but you don't really want to go for racks while your PL's on 600 health.
No. No, you do not. A lesson which has been repeated numerous times this game.
Yeah, but again, you know, it's kind
Full
of
respect to
buying
David, he's doing what he's doing. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, but it's buying enough time for Alan to kind of respawn, to push out other waves, to get a bit of farm up, and you know, to
being attacked.
I do like what's going on here though, Tide, making sure he stays very, very close to the replicant. Limiting Morphling's options. It's not going to be enough though. Like, he could actually have replicated there and then gone for the kill.
Oh no!
Oh, Yapplejack goes down, but so does Silent up on the top lane. And I gotta say, I think that Ravage is more important than Rubik.
Yeah. I mean, Rubik tried to full staff into the river, but unfortunately it wasn't far enough.
And that was Ravage as well. It wasn't just Tidehunter going down, Ravage actually popped. It'll be a minute after he gets back before they can Ravage again.
Yeah, and that's effectively, you know, that could secure them a tower.
Alan, too bold!
That's a bad idea.
Too bold, bro! Well, I say too bold. He's going for the TP, relying on all the stuns being down, but they're not. The DK stun has just such a low cooldown, and he gets nuked down. That was unfortunate. He almost made it, in full respect.
Yeah. I mean, he might have. I think he should have. He should have E-bladed TP. No, TP cancels E-blade. But yeah, I mean, he had very limited options there, so he did what he could. But again, you know, 86 seconds before he's back. That's a lot of time for Ad Ultimus to be able to recover. You know, the split push is great on David E at the moment, but again, you know, you're wandering around with less than 1,000 health, with less than half your health, and this time he backed away just in time. But you know, Ad Ultimus can make you pay for that. I think he's just trying to secure his buyback money before he finishes.
Oh my gosh, that's a really quick Roche. And Ad Ultimus already are aware of it, going in for it.
Yeah, I think this ward though has spotted them, so we'll see whether they rotate to contest that, and I really do think that they should contest that. With 2 lanes of racks down, you don't want to give a free wish to the other team.
Is it just a graphics glitch, or is there a cheese sitting on the floor? Has that been there the whole time? Did Tide only just pick that up?
No. DK had the cheese
on
the last rotation.
Okay.
And they just kind of
switched it around. Okay. Phew. I was quite scared there for a second. I was genuinely worried.
Yeah, this is Tidehunter with a refresher and cheese, a Dragon Knight, with an Aegis, and I think a Brewmaster with a Refresher in Cheese.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, if this team fight goes on forever. The good thing is about the Diffusal level 2 is you can keep them on low enough mana not to be able to use all of those abilities. But PL needs to be right on his game. He needs to realize that there are refreshers, there are cheeses everywhere, and he needs to make sure that they can't use those abilities in succession. Because if they do, you know, like, yeah, Wave.XIL are going to lose this. There is no question
Brew,
about
though.
it.
Brew actually popping his cheese now. I was going to say they can't push just now because, you know, they're very low on mana on certain key heroes. But Brew just noms on a cheese. They're now ready to go, but without one of those regens.
They just want to finish this as quickly as they can, and it's completely understandable. You can't sit back and farm against a team like this. They have 2 lanes of racks down, so that's optimal for them at this stage. And yeah, they're just going to try and take it all at this stage.
I mean, Radiant do have glyphs. They've got PL pushing out on top. There goes the first primal split. Alan being brought really low. I think he's just trying to bait.
I have no idea what he was doing.
Ravage coming out.
Yeah, but that was...
Rubik manages to steal, pops it off as well. No, I lied. I'm sorry, that was just Refresher on Tidehunter. The Applejack buying back. Now desperate to try and get a Ravage. Not going to happen though. Meanwhile, Umog taking so much range from this almost dead DK, who must be dead. Yes, he is dead. But of course, as you were saying, that's just an Aegis pop. He's right back, full health, full mana. BKB was popped, so he's not going to be getting that back.
Top tower is under attack.
And actually, I mean, they haven't taken objectives yet.
You see, yeah, but I mean, you see this extended team fight, which just keeps going on and on and on and on, and this is going to be in the...
And it's starting to benefit Wave.
Considering the number of buybacks, eventually, but you saw the number of buybacks there from the Wave. If they win this, they have to end the game. They have to push mid and end it.
PL's down, but immediate buyback. He'll be looking to come straight back in.
Diffusal PL. He has 7 charges. He needs to diffusal something. Alan, if Alan goes down, this is going to be a lost game.
He's got waveform.
Can't let
no, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Yeah, if Alan goes down, he says, as the AD team are brought so low, and that's Brewmaster and Dazzle being brought down.
Dire's top barracks is under attack.
Is madness. I'm just leaving the buyback status up the entire time. DK and Brewmaster both have buyback.
We can look at it at the moment. Buyback status. Yeah,
I've got that open. It's just wow.
Doom, Dragon Knight, Brewmaster, that's about it. And the rest are on pretty much 5 minutes cooldown. It was a nice buyback from everyone there. They knew they needed those buybacks. But yeah, I mean, the only option right now is try and end it. Because it's not going to keep going in the Wave.XIL favor. You're 2 racks down. You can try to split push, but
big push going on up top though. They're going to get their 3rd racks. They only need 1 more, and this game is all even Stevens. They've got it. They're backing out. Split is down. Doom admittedly is also down. But wow.
But you saw mass buybacks there, and that's great. You got the objective. You got the racks. You got the buybacks out of the way.
Run away.
You can sit
I completely
back
appreciate that. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, Wave must just be feeling so happy right now. They're actually ahead. I think because they've still got an external tower. I mean, it would melt like butter if Ad Ulti decided to push. But as of the 56-minute mark, let's have a quick look at the XP, at the gold. They're ahead on everything, even kills for possibly the first time in the game.
Yeah, and you know what's really, really great about this as well is the fact that they've created an imbalance. So mid will push against each other perfectly, but because they have such amazing split pushes within the PL, a great decision there to push the top racks, where you have protection of a tier true. Not only that, what's brilliant about it is you're creating an imbalance. So you're forcing Ad Ultimus' game to push top, while you're quite secure in knowing that you have a split pusher who doesn't mind going up against a line of mega creeps. So that is really, really nice. And you know what's really annoying me about this game so far, I mean, Dragon Knight's build. Why is he sitting on both boots? Like, he's had the boots of travel since the last rush. Just sell your other boots. It just makes no sense to carry 2 pairs of boots. Really, like, it's a bad idea.
I haven't really liked this Dragon Knight's build, I have to admit.
Yeah, and like he still has Yeah, he still has no right-click damage. I mean, it's great what they're doing with the extended team fights and the refreshers on everyone, but they really can't at this stage when PL has heart, diffuser level 2, and hopefully the morphling at some stage you might go for Skadi or a tanking item. It takes so much to kill these. It takes so much to kill them, and you don't have the damage to kill them. It's great that you have the team AoE ultis, but with a diffuser level 2, what are you doing with your refreshers? Refresher is just such a bad idea when you knew that PL had diffusal, because you won't be able to use it because you don't have the mana pool to use it a lot of the time. And
So,
I think mistakes were made on both teams and kind of in how they built their heroes, but the team that's paying for it the most at this stage in the game, 58-minute mark into kind of the uber late game, is Ad Ultimus, because
I mean, PL's got his heart now. Like, I think we were both saying maybe we would like to see that come out earlier, but he's got it now.
Yeah.
Whereas DK still hasn't got a dedicated damage item. BKB was just popped again. Yeah. He's trigger finger on those.
Yeah, I mean, like the big problem is he was being burst down. He had no mana.
Look at these PL illusions. They're not messing around.
Yeah.
That's Rax number 5.
Alan Iverson's distracting everyone by trying to push top as well.
And that's mega creep for Wave.XIL. Ravage is down. David, you can get back now. Shadow, you have to get back.
Ravage is
Yapple! Good job. That's 3 Ravages so far this fight. Yapplejack and Shadow being finished off very quickly, largely by the Shiva's Guard coming out from Silent. But I mean, that must be game all over. Morphling now just wrecking at the tier 4s. He's not even paying attention to this fight, just relying on his team to run distraction. And they're doing an amazing job at it. Dire Ancient now under so much pressure. Tide almost going down to the Morphling. And let's have a quick look at the buyback status. PL does not. But Morphling is out.
Oh, and Morphling TP's out, and PL just there fighting them. He can take them on.
This is Davidy's ideal situation. Yeah. Just left at the end of a team game, one of the last guys on his team alive, getting kills, pushing Ancient, creating illusions. Just how you do.
Yeah. I mean, great game by both teams. Great game by both teams. And they both had a strategy in mind, and they both played out their strategy, and win goes for Wave.XIL. So, I enjoyed that game thoroughly.
Yeah, I'm very happy. So I'll just do a quick goodbye thank you to anybody who was tuning in on Steam on the stream. We were having some good chats going on. We will be coming straight back for another match, but for those people who will be watching this later on YouTube, this is the end of the video. The next match will be in a separate video, so go and check that out. Many thanks to Meta, many thanks to the watchers. Please do subscribe and follow and stuff so I can do this more. Any final words, Meta?
No, I'm just looking forward to the second match, and a great match by everyone this game.